We are on, and hello, everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and welcome to Mastermind Magnets. And this is where we all connect, come together, and real estate professionals, mainly agents and brokers, but we have all kinds of professionals around the country. And so we're a referral group, we have lead programs, we have all kinds of fun things. And in fact, on Thursday, we'll actually describe into detail all of those. We call it the GPS to your success in those 5 steps that will help you increase your business and your wealth and really improve your lives. And that you're going to love this session. This is going to just be packed filled with great information. And again, a leads program, the investor lead program that we're going to talk about today, one of our exclusive programs. And so I would recommend that you take notes. And one of the reasons why is afterwards, I'd like you to review everything that we discuss. Most consider us the #1 real estate group in America, and that we just have cutting edge information and lead programs and training. And I'm a mental scientist. That's why everybody calls me Dr. Hank, and that's my PhD in mental science. So I have magical sentences for us. In fact, I'm going to give you one today for those of you that have been working with buyers. And I have some of you that have been working with buyers for like a couple of months and showing them like 40 homes and stuff. And so we're going to get those closed, and I'll give you a magical statement. So if you do have any deals, that I'll give you a magical statement that will actually move that deal along. And so, and again, if you have any comments, questions, feel free to unmute yourself. And so here we go. And again, I would suggest you take notes on this, that some of this information you've never heard before, and it'll be very, very helpful with your business and connecting with people. But the consumer picks an agent for 3 reasons. And the first one is your relevant expertise about local, national, about real estate, on where you are. That's the most important out of them all. And then your community reputation, and then your local connections. And again, we'll help you with all 3 of those. And especially today, we're going to help with that relevant expertise. And so, we always love to have vision. And so one of the things on vision that I'd like us to, if you don't ask for it, you can't get it. It's ask and you shall receive. And so we want to be able to look at what's our future. And every month I do an exercise, and I have this, and in fact, if you want it, it's some really amazing quotes, some really good quotes. But one of the quotes that I have that I read every month is that I don't look at what's happening now. Instead, I look at the future. And so the future is the promised land, if you will. And if we don't look at that, so I want you to think about 2 keys in finishing strong in 2020 and then having a fast start in 2021. And again, probably most of us haven't been thinking about, wow, we're already getting close to 2021, but we're already into September. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And I was at Hot Springs, Arkansas this past week, and man, what a blast I had with the nice 150-degree water from directly out into your bathtub with hot springs from Mother Nature. It was just glorious. And but to look at that future, that the first thing to do to really have this future going for us for the next couple of months this year and then into 21 is knowing exactly what's happening in the market and what consumers are looking for. And so I'm going to give you a recap today on exactly what's happening with the market, fresh off the out of the news, out of the information, out of data that you're going to have, and again, why you should take notes and then review it afterwards. And then I'd like all of us to make, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and as we develop now our vision of our just amazing, prosperous future, on making a commitment to being the knowledge agent. And so, I just read to you on that. That's what consumers are looking for. They want the knowledgeable agent. And so it doesn't matter if you're brand new or real experienced, you're going to get information here that's going to put you at the leading edge of that. And that'll guarantee your success in finishing 2020 and starting with 2021. So let's, first of all, we'd like to look at it from a broad perspective, kind of the whole world, if you will, the economy, the different things that are going on, COVID-19, the protests, and then getting down to real estate, because this is what's happening in your consumers, your customers, your prospects' minds, and we should be aware of what's going on and be as helpful as we can to help them get through all of this. We're here to give other people comfort, to help them become their greatest possibility. And so, first of all, the economy, we're actually out of the recession already. And it was the fastest recession in and out. And I predicted in February, too, that it would be a V-shaped recovery. And that's exactly what it was. The S&P 500 reached all-time heights. And it's increased 51% since March. And so if, people are saying, oh boy, everything's bad, actually, really a lot of good things are good. And, something to always keep in mind, whatever I focus my attention on expands. So you have a choice. Focus it on the things that are playing out, the good, positive things, or not. But whatever you focus your attention on, you're going to get more of it. And so we're going to focus, we've decided to focus our attention on what we want and the good things, and the positive things that are going on. And the good news is real estate is leading the economy's recovery. And so we got real estate really booming out there and helping with this whole effort, and we're part of that. And so if right now you don't have more business than you've had ever before, well, hang on to your seats, because those agents that have been with us and in our mastermind and everything, we said initially all this is these world changes. That's all it is changes, and big changes which have happened in the world create big opportunities. So that mindset to be looking for the opportunities, and I promise you God will deliver you then those opportunities, because whatever you're asking for, God's going to give you more of. And appropriate to know also is for investors, that the number one thing now, asset to invest in, is real estate. And so real estate is back at number one, and a little bit later, we're going to actually talk about a whole real estate initiative that we have that is really viable anywhere in the United States, and we'll get into more detail of that. And then just so you know, kind of looking at the whole world, that 24% of the workforce now works from home. And so that's a strategy that starts telling you, hey, where's my strategy? What's the consumer interested in? And what they're interested in is they're interested in more space, because they have to have Zoom rooms. They have to have their own separate rooms to work from. And by the way, the workforce, that increase is a 31% increase. So it significantly has increased. And the world has changed. That basically we're going more virtual than we've ever been. And the good news is we're already under, my umbrella, if you will. We're already virtual. We were made for all these changes. And so that's the economy. It's booming. Real estate is leading the way. COVID-19, the virus. In fact, I just read I always get my information from the CDC, and it's about the most reliable information. And so they just announced about a week ago that that only 10% of the COVID deaths are really primarily COVID. It's actually other symptoms. And so if you only do 10% of, let's say 300,000 deaths, that this is actually one of the least flus that has ever been. But again, you can't necessarily, we're not here to talk anybody into anything, and we're not here to push against anything, but I just want you to be aware of the facts. And then I just read another thing. So, and to give you a flavor for where the consumer is, that in a poll, they were asked, how many Americans had COVID-19? And their answer, they said 20% of Americans have COVID-19. It's actually only 1%. And so again, to just understand the mindset of most people is they think, oh, this is everywhere and everybody's dying, it's only 1%. When asked how many died from COVID, they said 9% of the population, actually 0.04%. And so it's less than, heart attack is still number one, pneumonia, there's all kinds of things ahead of it. And again, just for you to understand that this really isn't as serious as it appears to be. And again, for us, just stay healthy, okay? And so you don't want to be obese, you want to lose some weight, and I can help you with all that. In fact, I just published my 14th book. It's called Health, Wealth, and Success. And so it's on Amazon if you want it. And I'll have it at our live event, which is going to be a week from Saturday. And so if you are in DFW, or if you want to have really fun for a couple of hours, the 19th, I believe it is. The 19th of September from 11 to 1, we're going to have a live event, and we'll be singing, having fun, and growing our businesses. And then COVID-19, again, just a little bit more for perspective to help you understand on really what's going on. It's called the avian flu. Actually, it was 10 times worse than Corona. The H2N2 was 25% worse than Corona. So these things that, it's really not that bad. But understand the consumer basically believes it is. And so that tells us that they're concerned about safety. And so we want to make sure we're concerned with safety too. And so we have all kinds of things for how to do virtual open houses and showings and virtual meetings. And so we have all that training for you. And remember, everything under this umbrella is free for you. And then 33% of the US is experiencing stress, anxiety, and greater sadness. And that makes me sad. I don't like that. And that's what we're here to uplift the people. And just for perspective, like the United Kingdom is only 26% of that population is feeling that stress. So a lot of us in the US are feeling stress, a third of us. And so we want to help lead them to more happiness and joy. Stress actually causes heart disease and causes #1 killer of death. So people are killing themselves by having the stress that they don't have to have it. Like I've been having most of us that have been here together since January, I've had just a glorious time, more business than ever, and it's been, just great. And there are vaccines on the way. For those of you that want to know, 135 vaccines are preclinical and 2 vaccines approved already. And so again, we just need to be aware of that and understand the bigger picture and the perspective of that, and that you're going to be fine as long as you just think about being healthy and sending health to everybody that you know. Protests and reform, it's definitely going on. There's definitely need for reform, and we're right in the midst of it. In fact, I'm one of the panelists on the national panel to have answers and solutions. And I'd actually write that down, answers and solutions. That's what you're all about. If you start asking for answers and solutions to build your business, to improve your health, whatever, that you'll start getting them. And so you don't have to do, the Father does the work. So you don't have to figure out the how, you just figure out what you want. And so we want more business, we want better health, we want to be happier, and we have the power to do that. And so we had our last panel was on August 27th, and we really were talking there about some great pathway for reconciliation and things on what needs to be done and changes. And it's really all of us. It's about all of us. And all of us are made in the image and likeness of God. And so we're all tied together. And we have that similar love for each other as well as God, and for us to keep that in mind. And again, if we can help in any of the protests and reform, one of our exclusive lead programs is actually helping first responders. We're connected nationally to first responders, and if you're interested in helping first responders and helping grow your business significantly, we also have a way for that. And now let's get into our favorite thing, real estate. And real estate is going to be strong for several more years. So we're all in the right place, in the right industry, and it is booming, and it'll be good for the several years. And there are the three largest, and so again, I'd write this down. I bet most of us probably haven't heard about this before, but the three largest population groups that are now looking for new homes is number one, baby boomers. So if some of you have told me you don't like baby boomers, you should. They're all made in image and likeness too, and they're just born on a different platform of energy that we are. But it's baby boomers, millennials, and then Generation Zers, Z-E-R-S. And those are the ones that are entering in their 20s. And so again, to be looking at, doesn't matter what age you are, you can serve those people, whether you're young or more mature, if you will. The homeowner rate has increased to 67.9%, the most since '08. So, so what we're seeing is more and more people are owning homes, and now's the time. Why is now the time? That basically rates are the lowest that they've ever been in history. In fact, it's 2.93%, under 3%. Never before been as low. So money is cheap, if you will. And so they can get more house, and it's way better than renting. And it would take, and so just for perspective, a new home building, because that's another strategy that we have to help you to get into any sales consultant anywhere in the United States, new home builders. But catch this, it would take 1.5 million single family homes built for about 10 years to meet all the demand there is. Again, 1.5 million households a year for 10 years to meet all the demand. And so in 2019, there were 887,000 housing starts. And so like we're only, it's kind of like being in baseball, we're only in the fourth inning of this, that we have lots more building to go. And so if you want to know where the place is to build your business long-term, it's one of our lead strategies, and using that. And new home sales have surged 13.9% in July. And again, these are a way. So why do you want to have this information? It's that you want to be able to, and you'll be amazed at conversations that you have where all of a sudden you'll bring up some of this data and they'll go, man, are you smart? You're up to speed on all this. But new homes have surged 13.9%. And so it's 901,000 in the last year. Home sales are almost 1 million home sales have been done. And here's another new terminology, and to be on top of it, there's three types of buyers now. There's entry buyers, there's move up, so you call it move up now, okay? There's move up, and then there's 55 plus. And so again, there's entry, first-time home buyers, there's move up, they're going into bigger places. That's mainly millennials, because millennials are basically they're in the nesting stage, and so they need to, they're having kiddos, and so they need to have more space. And then we also talked about more space because more are working at home. So again, these are all things that you should be thinking about. Hey, how does that fit into my niches that I have? But again, entry, move up, and 55 and plus. And so I have all kinds of other data on there, but a couple of the highlights. First-time home buyers accounted for 34% of sales in July. So that tells you, hey, that's something. And millennials, which millennials are in their mid-20s to late 30s, they're buying homes and are into the nesting stage. And now here's an amazing one. So the average home is now in the U.S. is now $304,000. It's a fact you should have and just be able to just flow off your tongue, if you will. That's the average home sale is $304,000. First time it's ever been that high. At the same time, new home sales, so these are builders, right? It made up 10% of the market, but the average sales price was $384,000, which means you make a couple $1,000s more simply by doing that strategy. And again, we have the new home strategy. We have it all set up for you, and it's an amazing way to be able to connect and get into that opportunity. And so let's see. So we had a couple of weeks ago, I had someone say, "Hey, I want to get into repossessed, homes and start doing that." And don't do that. Bank repossessed 143 homes last year, and just now it's down to 40,000 homes year to date. So it just keeps on diving. The reason why that is because new homes in '08, because of that recession and everything, they changed a lot of the laws, and so people have a lot of equity in, so they're not losing their homes. And then the last thing, the home office is this year's hottest housing feature. And so again, a home office is it. And so in a repeat, but just to make sure that you're aware, consumers are now willing to pay for more space and outdoor features because they're staying at home. They want a backyard for the kiddos, etc. So be thinking about on how those would be features you would want for listings or whatever. And listings is a way, and we're going to come share with you also a new listing program, so you can really focus more on listing, because as I mentioned, those buyers, it could take months. Now it doesn't have to. And in fact, let me give you my magical sentence. If you're right now in a deal that, you got a buyer and they just keep on looking and looking, at an agent yesterday contact me and say, "Hey, I need help." And this is one of the things I do is help with magical sentences. And you'll see within a day, within a couple of days, it'll start moving along. But it could be any situation. It could be, it's just a bad inspection or whatever. But and you can rephrase some of this depending on the situation, but here is a magical sentence to get a deal moving along. Doesn't matter if you're on a listing, a buyer, whatever, but it is this. This couple, and so you maybe want to change those words, this individual, whatever those people, Bob and Mary, whatever you want. But this couple now finds the perfect home quickly and easily. So again, this couple now finds the perfect home quickly and easily. And if you want to really put another bump into that you can add on, "Thank you, Lord." And so to always bring along God with everything that you're doing. And so if you'll write that 21 times today, I guarantee you will start getting some activity, and out of the blue that they'll select a house or they'll get a listing for it. I just had an agent, in fact, yesterday afternoon, had an agent who had that magical sentence and got an offer on the house while we were talking. And so, so the same thing can be for you. And so that's your magical sentence. And any thoughts, comments about what that has before we move into our investor program? Any thoughts, comments that any of you have? What did you like best? Any thoughts on it?
I love the idea of connecting it with God, and whatever we're doing, keeping that as like the focus. Because as you said, all we have to do is ask, and then God fills in the pieces. So it's just one of the things I've always appreciated about your teachings and is that aspect of how we move forward in life, as you started with, and how we are moving forward is a direct relation, and that what I have found in that connection with God or higher power or divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And when I do that, it actually, it gives me internal peace. And actually what I have found is that power really comes from within to without. And it's when that starts like coming into me, it's just extremely peaceful and helpful and happy. And joyous and free. So that's what I like best.
Yeah, well, and that's awesome, Ryan. And Ryan is a top agent and just gets amazing opportunities, $1 million homes, and all kinds of wonderful things and people and connection. He has his own podcast show, not necessarily related to real estate, but he wrote a book now too, and I helped him to write his book, Condo Living, and in Dallas. And so again, we can help you in a lot of different things, but that's just awesome, Ryan. I appreciate your comments. Any other thoughts before we?
I agree 100% with Brian. It brings that alignment, that peace, when you're doing the work of the Lord. And, when you teach us that as well, Dr. Hank, it's just like a flow, like you say.
Yeah.
You're just in alignment, and we
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then Helga was a relatively new agent, didn't have much business going on, and then came under our umbrella. And man, she's just helping people, serving people, loving it, making lots of money. And it's all fun. And money is good. Money just means more freedom for us. And that's one of our sole purposes, is to have that more freedom. That's great. Well, since we have you on, Angelica and Rebecca, hello to both of you. And I know that Rebecca initially started out, and then Angelica said, hey, I want to take a leadership role in this also, but they created a investment program that they're going to share with you now. And this program is, again, available really to anybody in the United States. We have, it originally started where they live in Dallas, but Rebecca goes out every other month to California and speaks to investors. And then we speak to investors here in DFW, but our main markets initially were Austin, Dallas, California, but it can mean more real estate business for you. And so we have these investors, and they're looking for properties, and you can find properties for them so it can increase your business. You can also become an investor, and Rebecca is very knowledgeable, and Helga are very knowledgeable in that. And so with that, I'll give it to you, ladies, and Rebecca, you need to unmute, or you both need to unmute yourself, please, and share it with us on that opportunity on the Investment Leads program.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hank, for having us on this morning. And, it's really exciting for us to be here to share this with our fellow realtors and real estate professionals, because it's very exciting. As you mentioned earlier, people are, it's the #1 investment that folks are looking at, that have money to put somewhere. It's not the stock market right now. It's not other type of investments. It really truly is real estate. And so this is exciting. As you mentioned, we have expanded this project because we started out, just really focusing in Texas, because obviously we are licensed in Texas. And then we started expanding because of the need. The reality is that real estate agents, it's not necessarily something that we're taught to get our license, right? We're not necessarily taught, how do you calculate a return on investment? How do you package a deal so that it's understandable for an investor, whether it be a new investor or a savvy investor, how do you package that? How do you speak their language? And so we really started developing some systems and the information to educate not only our peers, but also the investors that they're helping. And so we're really excited that we have now, a team of people. And so with this program that we're offering, really it could be, 2 ways. You can do just like anybody else, right? A straight referral. But we wanted to increase that opportunity with the knowledge that also goes into helping these people. So, so you could either refer us the investor to work with, or we actually are looking for people to join this program, this leads referral program, where you can actually learn how to do this. And we walk with you, we work with you a little bit, and so that way you can learn this system and you can be part of this program. And so some of the things that we include is not only, like I've already mentioned, the educational piece to it, but we also offer the marketing piece to it. And I think that that's really important when you're working with investors, is showing them how you're different, you know? And so when you partner with us, you get that expertise. I personally have about 20 years of marketing and community relations experience. And so we leverage that to be able to get things sold quickly. And so I'll let Angelica tell you a little bit about a couple of the deals that we've been doing, and then we can, you know, kind of go from there on how you can all get involved.
Great.
Yes, so recently, like Rebecca just said, we've just recently started working together, and we've had a lot of success in properties, like she said, not just here in the DFW area. We had a Lubbock property. We had a past client that reached out, and she had a property she wanted to get rid of. And we had it sold within a couple of hours. It wasn't even on the market. We just put it on social media, and we had it under contract within a couple of hours. And so she was very thankful. She just wanted to get, yeah, she no longer lives in Lubbock, and she was living in Austin. She just wanted to sell it. So, you know, Rebecca and I worked together. Rebecca had it on social media, was sold within a couple hours, and the lady couldn't believe it. She was just like, thank you. So, you know, that's just one of the examples. We also had one in Dallas that didn't hit the market as well. It wasn't even complete. And we had some gentlemen that were interested and purchased it right then and there. So that's another one. We had one in Bedford that sold over asking price. That one went 22% over the asking price. So, wow. And then we had another one in Fort Worth that sold very quickly. So just all over in the Metroplex. We have another deal we're working on right now currently in Richardson. So we just have a lot of people that are interested in investing, and that's why we're here. Rebecca and I are here to help. We have the services here available for you as realtors. I mean, we can help educate. That's my passion. I come from an education background, so I really believe in educating. And that's why Rebecca and I really hit it off. We had the same philosophy, and we want to educate the public, whether you're going to be an investor or if you want to be a realtor and help us and join our team.
Okay. Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, I think probably the greatest thing I heard at our live event a couple of weeks ago is you were saying that you needed to actually develop and hire somebody to develop an Excel sheet to keep track of all the deals you guys are working on. And so this is a very successful one. And just to be clear, so if I'm a real estate agent, so one of the things, what would I be doing? Would I be finding properties then for your investors, or how does that, what would I be doing if I join? What can I do?
Sure, that's a great question.
Oops.
Sorry about that. Better. I didn't want to lose you. I had a low battery there, so I switched over to a different device.
Oh, okay.
Anywho, that's a great question, Dr. Hank, is, you know, exactly how can you get involved as far as the folks on this call. So there's two ways. One is if you, you know, just want to do a referral, we do, you know, pay referral fees, and we do keep you in the loop. So that way you can be involved in the process and really kind of show your client that you, you know, are interested in what they're doing, especially if it's a referral that you've been working with for a while or something like that. But I think more importantly, for especially the people on this call, right, the masterminds, if you will, and the people that are trying to thinking at a higher level, we would love to invite you to be part of our team. And to be part of our team doesn't mean that you have to be exclusive with our team. You know, that's the wonderful part about what we do. You can cherry pick the clients that you want to bring to our team and get the expertise with. So for example, a couple of the things that Angelica was mentioning, a couple of the deals that we've done. So I think Lizette is on the line, and she's actually one of the folks on our team. She was the co-listing agent on that property. And so we've been able to, you know, share with her how, you know, how do you list an investment property versus a normal residential sale, because it is different, right? Not only the information that you put out there, but the pre-work that you do to in order to give that to the investor. So for example, you know, calculating an ARV, which is your after repair value. You know, how do you do that, and how does that make sense for the investor when they call you and ask, you know, those things. So we teach you kind of those steps, and then also the marketing side of it too, and elevate you as an expert in investing. So that would be some of the bonuses that you get as far as joining our team, is we help you with the marketing side of it, and we put you right into the marketing so that you attract more investors off of this one deal. And then so investing deals, you know, I just kind of want to be clear, because I don't think we touched on, is we're not talking about just fix and flips. You know, we've done those as well. We have a concierge service, so we help through the whole entire rehab project. We're kind of like a project manager, and then a part of our service is that we relist that, right? And so obviously, you know, we gain on both sides, as a purchase and as the sale. So that's a you know, fix and flip or a rehab property. But we also do a buy and hold, right? And so buy and hold situation can be, you know, a property that's on the MLS, a property that's off market. So we teach you how to actually look for those properties that are off market. Because I would say a good number of the properties we've done this year are actually off market properties. So we have a little bit more of a spread for the investor. So we show you how to identify those. And how to negotiate those, because just because a property's off market doesn't mean that you have to pay what they're asking. We've actually been able to negotiate with wholesalers to get the you know, the purchase price down, you know, work out closing costs and all those things. That way we're always giving the best deal to the investor, right? So we'll show you how to do those. And I think that was one of the properties that Angelica mentioned, where the buyer, the investor came in, we identified an off-market property. It was a duplex. We purchased it. They put a little bit of money into rehabbing it. And then now they're renting it, and they're cash flowing about $1,200 a month on a duplex. Wow. Which is, yes, it's amazing. They're getting about a 20% cash on cash return. And so, you know, for those of you who are kind of new to investing, a normal buy and hold situation, if an investor is getting more than 6%, they're generally, that's kind of like a happy place for them of, oh, okay, you know, I'm getting a decent return at 6 to 8%. If you get over double digits, it's like, wow, you know, I'm really making some money. And if we're talking about 20%, you know, I'll just tell you that investor was just so happy with that. Right. So that's kind of what we're looking to teach folks on how to do it. And so those are the two options, either a referral, or we actually handhold with you and teach you how to do this.
Okay, cool. So Kelsey, I want to go to you. Kelsey is in Austin, and that, by the way, is the #1 market in real estate in the US. And then DFW is one of the top ones. And Kelsey, hearing that, do you have any questions or comments, or can you use this to be part of, you know, the Austin connection, if you will?
Yeah, that would be great. I also have a lot of investors from New York City and California that are either transferring their money here, or they're part of like large investment funds that are investing in commercial real estate, like multi-unit residential. So I'd love to connect with you guys. You know,
yeah.
That'd be great.
That's awesome.
Fantastic, Kelsey. You know, we were just there in California, you know, like a week or two ago, and that's what that was like a hot topic for us because of the whole Tesla plant and everything. And so there's a lot of interest in Austin. So we'll definitely connect.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'd love that. It would be great.
Yeah, Tesla, just so you know, if you don't know, is building their plant down in Austin. So it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And that's some good stock if you bought it a little while ago. That stock has just skyrocketed. And then Kelsey, do you have other people that are yours, in your brokerage on right now? Can you see?
Matt was on and he had to jump off because he had to go to a showing really quickly, and Alex couldn't come on, but I'm going to take notes and I'll connect everybody with them.
Yeah, great. And so let's see, could you, Rebecca, could you leave your give your contact information for anybody that has an interest? This is one of the step 4 of the GPS is savings and investment, and this is the investment arena, and we're just, it's so unique, it's so great. We're already up and running and set up for you to be able to join. And so, Rebecca, what is your contact information if you guys want to know more about how you could help with either getting inventory on this or getting investors or working together to be able to do, all kinds of real estate investing?
Fantastic. So I think Angelica just put our email address, Texas Homeowners Helpline at Gmail. That's our website as well, Texas Homeowners Helpline. You can reach me directly, Rebecca with Results, and that's across all social media, and that's my email as well. And then Angelica put our office number there on the chat also. So you can reach out to Angelica or I.
Yeah, fantastic.
Can you guys share a little bit about your marketing and what you're doing in your marketing that's setting you apart and making you different than another investor program?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we do, Ryan, with my marketing experience is we analyze each property to see who the best fit is for that property. So for example, that Memphis deal that we did where we got 22% over asking, the strategy, and it really also depends on the strategy that the seller, if it's a sale that we're doing, that the seller is looking for, because sometimes the seller doesn't want people to know that they're selling the home. Right. And so that's why they genuinely look for people who, you'll see the sign on the road, right? We buy houses or whatever. And so basically our strategy is to help the people that are like that, rather than just getting that one offer from that one investor. We help them to market to specific groups that may be interested in that property, right? So there's research that is involved in it. Like Angelica mentioned in Lubbock, we actually had to join different groups, and we had to actually look for the different investors that are out there that are buying, on a high level. So there's a strategy that I think is also tailored to each client and to each deal, which is what we teach our agents, when they're part of the team. If it's a referral thing, we kind of do that on the back end and then kind of share with you the strategy for that specific deal. So I'll go back to the example of the Bedford property where we got the 22% over asking price. He was actually okay with doing it on a big level, meaning that we were able to put it on the MLS. We were able to market it to our current investors. We were able to market it to our list of investors that have contacted us through various methods, right? So it wasn't one specific strategy, it was more of a combination of different strategies. And so we usually go, when it's a seller, we'll usually ask them, how comfortable are you with the marketing aspect of it? Are we able to list the address on the internet? If it's no, and sometimes it's been no, then we have to go other methods, which are more of the even making telephone calls to other investors, things like that. But I think it helps that we have a database of investors that we've worked with and are currently working with. So we usually shop it there first, kind of get the feedback. And then depending on what the situation is, then we can publicly promote it or market it, so and sometimes like that Bedford deal, that was the best deal. Our investors were only willing to offer X amount, and when we put it on the market, we actually were able to attract somebody who wants to live in the property. So they were willing to pay a little bit more for the property. Right. And that's, it's a really good school district, et cetera. So it really just depends. I think to answer your question, Ryan, it depends on the property. It's kind of like every, client is a little bit different. It's like every property is a little bit different. But I think that those are kind of the most successful ways we've done it is, number one, we have an actual active buyer list that we shop it to. Number two is we're very active on the social media side of it. And then number three is we tailor the marketing strategy to fit the needs of the client. So those would kind of be the three ways that we maximize the purchase price or the sales price.
Do you guys have a specific way on social media that you're marketing? And I know we're getting close on time, but you just mentioned the social media. And do you guys have a specific site or group set up on social media?
So we have a private VIP site for our active investors. So we do push a lot of properties there. Like so for instance, if it's a buyer, let's say an investment buyer, we'll take some of the off-market properties that we've established relationships in. And here's a very good point, I think, is I come from the thought process of connecting people. And so that's why our initiative is called I Connect Real Estate. Because we are in the thought process of, not just turning over properties, but really making those relationships. And so over the year or so, we've been able to develop relationships with actual wholesalers who feed us property. So we get those properties and then we can, push that onto our buyers, investor buyers. And so these are properties that they're not going to see, especially if they're not local. So it really, I would say more is about the relationship that we're building with these folks. And so that way, when they see a message come through from us, they actually open it versus, somebody who maybe they haven't built a relationship with and they may see it as spam, right? So I think that that's number one is developing relationships. And then the secondly, Ryan, would be, I guess because of my marketing background, we get very creative. So for example, we had an open house for a fella who, with this whole pandemic thing, right? It's like, how do you do effective open houses? Well, we did a virtual open house and we also did some giveaways. And so that attracted multiple people to come and see the property without them having to actually be in the property, right? And so we come up with different things like that. Before the pandemic, like around Valentine's Day, we had a Valentine's, come make a homemade Valentine's party, right, at the open house. So we get really, really creative with what we do, not just with our investors, but with our traditional residential clients. So I think there's not really a specific thing that we do. I think it's more of the experience that we had of being creative and then creating something that's going to attract the right buyer or seller for that property. That's really our expertise and why what we do is different than, your average buyer and seller of investment properties. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it's also your experience, Rebecca, and you alluded to that, you've been for 20 years actually developing these relationships. And so you have these investors, again, a lot of them in California where you had lived previously. And so it's really this accumulation of 20 years of marketing background, of having these connections with what I call higher end clientele. And so I've been with Rebecca, I've gone with her to different events where she's got, all these bigwig people, if you will, real well known and wealthy and blah, 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 people that, and of all backgrounds as well. And of course, then they're bilingual too. And so you have that bilingual angle where you're able to, do, which is soon to be the #1 population in America will be Hispanic. And so they really got it all covered here with all that experience, marketing, the investors, relationships, and then the experience in real estate with Rebecca and Helica.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dr. Hank. I mean, honestly, I could pick up the phone and really reach out to folks, not just nationwide, but internationally. And that is a big selling point for, especially for our investors when we're talking about multifamily units or, and I want to encourage you all, if you come across properties that are even in the commercial arena or luxury arena, personally, I've done deals, in the $30 million range, right? So don't be shy about reaching out if there's something that comes across your desk that you maybe, you're not sure how to handle. Reach out to us. We're happy to partner with you. We're happy to share our knowledge, our education. If there's a property that's quite not moving and you need to maybe adjust the price a little bit or get an offer, we do offers within 24 hours. We'll send out an offer to you for any properties that you may have, so reach out. I guess that's the main point, right? We're happy to be here.
That's fantastic. Great. Any other questions, comments about this amazing investor program that really is exclusive and with all this breadth of knowledge and experience and marketing and contacts on how you could be part of that?
Hey, Dr. Hank, this is Don D. I have a question. I have just for our investor team. I do a fair share of fix and flips.
Okay.
The market has been pretty good, but just one question. How are you overcoming your investors' sometimes unreal expectations on the ARV? They want a huge amount back, and
Sure.
the numbers just aren't. I don't care what you do. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. The numbers
Right.
just aren't adding up sometimes.
Sure. I think one of the things that we do, Dondi, is we establish the relationship from the beginning, meaning that when you go to the doctor, right, you don't necessarily tell the doctor, well, my A1C numbers, that's not right. I want them to be this, right? You have a level of a respect and understanding that what the doctor says is his professional opinion. And so I think that part of what we do really well is we establish that with our clients. We let them know, hey, yes, we're in this together. Yes, we want your feedback. However, at the end of the day, we're successful at doing this because it's our job, it's our profession.
Mm-hmm.
So I think number one is establishing that, right, that you are the expert. And then number two is it really depends on the way that you're packaging the information. So for example, with this deal that we got 32% over asking price, the gentleman was, we started low. We actually started negotiating really low, and then we came to a point where.
Hey, we can't hear you, Rebecca.
Losing your audio.
Yeah, we can't hear your audio.
Is that better?
Little. Yeah, stand up. Yeah, go ahead.
Better? Okay.
A little.
Oh gosh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what we did there is we established that with the seller, right, that we're the expert, and then I just let him know, hey, I'm not comfortable going over this because you hired me to do a certain.
We're missing you.
Yeah.
We're missing you. But I think I understood it, and Alika, if you want to jump in too, but if I understood it, you basically add your credibility there and you say, we're in this together. And so it's really that upfront approach versus
doing business with for years, and they know just enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, right, exactly. And they usually, an investor sometimes will come in as, hey, I'm the money guy, so you better do everything I say.
Exactly.
And that's where that whole attitude, and you could pick up on Rebecca, on just the confident level on the way that she approaches this. And this is, this is how it is. We're working together, but this is what we do for a living. And we've been doing this for over 20 years. And that's the other cool thing about being part of this mastermind group is you have all of our experience. So you can, and even if maybe, you haven't been doing it for 20 years, now you can say we have, because we includes your whole team here, and it includes Rebecca. And Rebecca, can you talk?
Yes, is this better? I jumped on.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I do want to share this really quick with you because it's something that I learned, and you have to kind of own it when you do it this way. But providing them the information and letting them know would you rather be the highest priced property on the market, right? Where people are going to feel the need to negotiate down the amount, or you want to be the best opportunity on the market where you get multiple offers? Like, which position would you rather be in, right? Do you want to do a song and dance for 3 months and have those holding costs for 3 months? Or do you want, you know, a bidding war, right? So I let them know from the beginning, these are our two strategies, you know, which one do you want to do?
Oh, that's
and when they're an investor, it takes time to market a property when you're overpriced. And you're losing money, and people are going to start thinking that there's something wrong with the property. And so just let them know, this is my expert opinion. You have two tracks, right? We're in a fork in the road. You want to go the easy way, or you want to fight an uphill battle?
I like that. I like that.
Yes. And then the other thing too is letting them know, hey, I want to be conservative in our ARV, because when we're conservative, we have room to grow, versus when we are opposite in the ARV and we start really high, we're going to start chipping away, you know, at things. And this is not going to be a fun experience for you. And let them know, hey, I want this to be fun, right? I want to attract for you the best buyer. And to do that, we have to be the best property opportunity on the market, so that we get way over asking price.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, that's great. Hey guys, we are out of time, but Rebecca and Angelica, we really appreciate your input, and it's just an amazing opportunity. Again, you can get into this, you know, everything's free with us, and you get into it for free, and to get all this knowledge and expertise and leverage, you know, like with Dondi, that, you know, leverage whatever you're doing to help you, because we're all in this together, and that's why we're the mastermind and why we're the magnets, because we attracted each other to be able to help grow our businesses and lives. And so I appreciate everybody coming today and your input today. And you know what we always do at the end of this is we got to do a little singing. So we like to laugh and have more fun.
We like to
laugh and have more fun as we increase our income. As we increase our income.
I'm retired military, so I'm good with this.
We expect to have it now. We expect to have it now. Or we understand how.
We understand
how. I accept prosperity.
I accept prosperity.
Money finds me easily.
Money finds me easily.
Prosperity is our divine right.
Prosperity is our divine right.
And the universe is our guiding light. And the universe
is our guiding light.
All right, everybody. Love you. If you have any questions, you know, comments, you can go to Rebecca and Alika, me. Any way that we can help. We'll see you Thursday at 10 o'clock Central Time. That's where we lay out the GPS, and it's the 5 steps to help you. It starts with mindset and my mindset, and you get all of that again for free, and lead programs and all kinds of stuff. And so if you need the link, just let me know. God bless you. Love you all. And let's do virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. Virtual, virtual kisses.
High fives.
And I'm gonna turn off the recording, but I'll still stay on here, and so we'll stop the recording. So all of you, goodbye, adios, love you, peace, and lots of happiness. All
Excellent.
right.
Awesome.